I noticed there were no party joining in the demo when you're in a multiplayer game. So is the party system sort of gone now because there's no PK switch?
That's right.
You're just automatically in a party?
Yeah.
And you're sharing experience and all of the other...
Yeah, we found that the party interface is just kind of unnecessary without, and if we do any kind of PK settings at all, we figure we start people in a party and they can always jump out. It seemed like it was an unnecessary step, since as soon as people come in, they immediately start asking for party, and a lot of the times if they didn't get party, they'd leave the game and go find somebody else, and so it just seemed like an unnecessary barrier to getting people together.
Is there going to be a mechanism for booting people from the party if someone's in there, they can't really take your drops anymore, but if they're just causing griefing or...
Probably. Yeah. We'll probably have to have some kind of way to...
That was the one useful thing with PKing. You could make people leave if they were completely annoying.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll almost definitely have to have some kind of anti-griefing mechanisms like that.
Relating to that, I would like to ask, when someone is playing in a game and a friend of him is joining the game, how can he go to his friends so they can play together when they are at different spots of the game?
It's not in the demo because we don't have any waypoints in the demo, but you can you'll start right by a waypoint very similar to in Diablo 2, and the waypoints have an option to teleport to any other player. So you can just go directly to the other player. We're probably going to add maybe even a scroll that does the same thing, because we want to make sure that players can always just kind of easily find one another.
You could use that scroll anytime from town, or...
We haven't designed it yet, so I wouldn't want to say specifically, but we've just said, hey, a scroll that teleports to other players sounds cool. So it's on the list of things to figure out.
There are in Diablo 2, there are a lot of hidden statistics, like magic find, fast cast rate. Do you plan to add a new window where we can see these statistics in Diablo 3?
Yeah, we in the character screen, there's right now in the demo, there's some fields that I think they might be just blank, but they're meant for statistics, essentially, be able to find it. I'm not even happy with that. I kind of want something that is a little more robust. I definitely don't want, we don't want a game that just buries you in stats, so we do kind of want to put them off to the side, but for the players who care about them, they should have a way to go and find out what the more comprehensive stats for their character. And even in the interface now, like if you go and look, we give a lot more information when you mouse over different stats in the character screen about what that stat gives you and what it does for you.
Have you guys considered conceptually what you want the top quality items to be? Is it going to be uniques again? You said you don't like rune words very much. Rares, how random are the top items?
I definitely. I mean, we haven't decided yet because we're not really that far along. I generally lean towards the top quality items should be items that are drops, and not items that are crafted, for example. But exactly how that's going to work out and how they all fall together, we haven't completely decided yet. We'll probably do some kind of a leapfrogging system where there's a tier of items that are hard to find as drops, and then there's another type of item that is maybe a step above that. But I think the last is probably always. I think it works best if it's a found item, a drop.
There's been a lot of debate with the whole uniques versus rares. Because rares are essentially useless in D2 now, except for like gloves and boots, maybe. And people want there to be a chance to get the most, just how much variety there is possible.
Yeah.
Is it going to be a wind force that everybody wants if it's the single best item, or will it have 200 to 500 damage and it's totally random? You never know.
Yeah, I think the goal and it's a hard goal to hit because but the goal would be for it to be a mix, that there are some rares that are that are better depending on your build, and some uniques that are better depending on your build. I think really the key to that is probably going to be not building a unique for every build and every type. Like if we have like a unique that's the best for every possible conceivable build, well then the uniques are going to be the ones that everyone's after. But if there's potential for rares to win in a few cases, and maybe not just a few, then I think that's good. But it's hard for me to. I'm speculating here. How we actually, there's still systems that we're working with that affect the item game that might affect our decisions in there that we're working on.
I would like to ask a question about the new status system. The new status points are more important than in Diablo 2 because they have really cool features like dexterity gives you a chance to dodge and so on. How many points will we get per level? In Diablo 2 it were 5. Will it be the same in here?
Yeah, we actually don't use. We've gotten rid of skill point spending. I mean, attribute point spending. We don't do that anymore. Now, you just get granted attribute points when you level up, and the reason that we did that is, for the most part, attribute spending in Diablo 2 is a great way, when you didn't know how to play the game, to break your character. Most people didn't know where to put them, and when they finally found out, the answer was always kind of weird, like, oh, put 5 points in energy and then put all the rest in vitality.
Yeah.
So there was also no way, when you do that, there's no way for us to know what you as a character are going to have at a particular level. Because we can't do, the base is always level 1. Because what if you spend no points in energy? You never have more mana than you start with. So we can't give you a skill that costs more mana than a level 1 character would have. And so because of that, when you have attributes kind of granted along the way, then we have a baseline at every level that we can look at and say, okay, at this level you could have this skill, and so we can cost it accordingly. So we do focus a lot more on other systems.